Right, 4 more exam questions, year 12, so you can practice that skill and consolidate it and combine all the rules of logs you know. So this is a question, it's a 3 marker, they ask you to solve it. Now, where could we start? We can combine these logs here, and that's the subtraction law. So we get log to the base 2 over x to the 7. Now, in this instance, we can cancel out these logs because they're the same on both sides, because this 7 has to equal x plus 1 divided by x. So these are just all different skills that you need to know how to use to solve these types of questions. So we multiply out by x to obtain x plus 1 equals 7x. Now you're going to get 1 or 2 method marks here at least. Subtract x on both sides. So you get 1 equals 6x. So x must equal 1 over 6, and that will probably be roughly m1 here, m2 here, m1 for this section, m2, and that's your A1 mark. 3 straightforward marks. Now here's a 5-marker one on this side. So we've got subtraction, but we want to combine the logs together. So if you notice this 2 here, using the power law, we can bring it to this. Now, if you remember the subtraction law, the logs have the same base, so we can divide out by 2x minus 13. Not divide out, but the subtraction law suggests that this becomes this. And we've got the equals 1 there, because we need to show that x squared minus 16x plus x4 equals 0. Now if we inverse the logs, we will get x minus 5 squared over 2x minus 13 equals 3 to the power 1, which is 3. Now we've got to multiply that out. I hope I'm going to have enough space. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2x minus 13 to leave us with x minus 5 squared equals, well, 3 times 2x is 6x, 3 times minus 13 is going to give us minus 39. Now I've got to expand this and rearrange to show that it equals this quadratic, so we can solve it later. And this expanded will be x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 6x minus 39. Now minus 6x on both sides and plus 39, you will get this answer, and you'll get 5 out of 5 to obtain x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals 0, like the question asks. And if they ask you to then solve it, you will just factorise to get x plus 8, x minus 8 equals 0, and put down solution x equals 8, because we cannot have a negative log. So that's a quite easy 5 out of 5. If they ask you this, it's going to give you another 2 marks as well. And that's pretty straightforward. We're getting good at this now. Now, same skills. Obviously watch the video and then try these questions yourself. Otherwise you won't consolidate the skill just by watching. I don't watch messy on YouTube and expect to be messy just by watching these videos. So here we go, we've got to solve this one now, and this is a 6-marker. Similar skills to the question in the previous video. So it looks like we want to leave this 3 out, the constant out on the outside, because we can take out the logs later, or inverse the logs later, depending on what definition you prefer. So using the power law, I know that we can write this like this, to the power 2 plus 3 And all this gives you valuable method marks, guys. You need to develop this skill. Now remember, we subtract on both sides. We can then use the log division rule. Minus 1 squared equals 3 now. Now, remember, we can remove the logs. So 11 minus 6x over x minus 1 squared equals 2 to the power of 3, which you should know equals 8. And we solve like before. So we multiply out by the x minus 1 squared. So we get 11 minus 6x equals, be careful here, keep that in the bracket, these are good algebra skills here. I know x minus 1 squared is x minus 2x plus 1 equals 11 minus 6x. You can see we're going to have a challenging quadratic to solve later, and that's a squared here, don't forget that. Expand, simplify and set to 0, so that's going to be 8x squared minus 16x plus 8 equals 11 minus 6x. Make sure you can do this well, or you're going to lose a few marks, your answer marks as well. So I'm going to minus 11 and plus 6x, so I'm now going to get 0 equals 8x squared and plus 6x, that's minus 12x minus an 11, so that is minus 3, I believe. And minus 6x tells you to be careful here. Minus 16x, that's actually minus 10x. Now we factorise, and I know it's going to be a 4x and a 2x. I don't have the space to show you the working, but you should all be able to do that now. We need a minus 10x, so if I have a minus 3 here, it gives us a minus 12x and a plus 1, which gives us that minus 3 and minus a 10x equals 0, and we're almost there. So x equals minus 1 over 4, but you know we can't use negative log, so make sure you state that here. You can't log a negative number, because that could cost you a mark. And the other one would be x equals 3 over 2, which is the correct answer, and that's your 6 marks done. I mean, I would roughly estimate that would be M1 and M2 and M3, M4 here, M5 and A1 here. And I'm sure that you'll lose a mark if you actually put the answer as x equals a quarter there. So remember to give these a go yourselves and then play back the video. As long as you've got the majority of the method here, you'll get the full marks. So question 4 now, guys, should be really easy for you. Let's see. Actually, question 4 is a different type of question, which I'm going to give you work on in the next video, because this is ln. And what's the inverse of ln, if you remember, is the exponential term. But like ln and logs, you can still use the log rules. So if I subtract ln of x on both sides using the division law, that will equal that. Just in case, I'll write that here. This equals this because of the division law, so we get left with equals 2. And this is when you need to remember that the exponential term is the inverse of the ln term. So if you use exponential on both sides, that will cancel out. So obviously we're going to either side, so then that means you're going to get 2x plus 1 over x equals e to the power of 2. Multiply out by x, so 2x plus 1 equals e to the 2 times x. Now this is a tricky part, and this is a bit of a stingy 3-mark question. How are you going to get x on its own? What you're going to do is minus 2x on both sides to leave the 1. And it's like changing a subject in GCSE, where sometimes you have to factorise, and I'm minusing 2x here, guys, by the way. I won't do that yet because that might confuse you. Minus 2x. You can factorise x out now, so 1 equals x to minus 2, because you can make x a subject here, so x will equal, and you can do that on your calculator. If they won't give it their answer to 3 significant figures, then you work that out and write it down to 3 significant figures. Guys, you need to be able to write that, because you're losing a mark on papers I've checked when you don't do that correctly. And if they want the exact solution, that'd be the exact solution, and that's your 3 out of 3 done. And in the next video we'll do some more of these type questions when you have to use the exponential term, and hopefully you're going to get really strong at using the log laws now, and this has all become easy for you. Well done, guys.